One. What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am pumped. I am interviewing Jeremy Forcier on your top 5 questions for every Realtors. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
Super
Good.
Pumped. You know, the all-time most watched interview that I think there's been a few interviews. The Simon Sinek and the Jocko interview might have beat it. But in terms of a loan officer video, the top 5 questions Jeremy Forcier asked Realtors is the best. So I want to do a remake of that because we're coming into 2020. And so Jeremy, first of all, as we close out 2019, if you could let everybody know how you're doing, and then let's redo that top 5 questions.
Sure, man. I'm doing great. And if I am included in the same breath with those other 2 guys, Jocko and Simon Sinek, I feel pretty good about myself right now. So
right.
that's really cool. But no, 2019 doing great. We're having a monster month this month. 40 units, personal production, and just having a lot of fun, man. More than anything, I'm having a lot of fun doing loans.
Well, I think when I talk to the best of the best, they make it fun. So let's talk about the questions that you're asking Realtors. And I think when you and I originally did this, it was the questions that you're asking new Realtors on meetings. Every Realtor, they're getting these 5 questions.
Yeah.
If it's changed, feel free to mention what's changed. But what are the questions you're asking right now?
I mean, it really hasn't changed too much. And of course, context is always important, right? So yes, I still ask these same questions, right? But when you're in a relationship with, and you're in a deeper relationship, it's a little bit different. You may ask pieces of these questions, but first question that I'm always asking right now, and I always want to ask not just Realtors, but business people in general, is where are you having most of your success right now? Like, I always love to start with that question because it's important to understand what's going well for that individual in their business. And even if that's someone you've worked with for some time, it might be different right now than it was before. So I'm always starting with that. Like, where are you having a lot of your success right now in your business?
Love it. And I think that's a good question, even when it's an existing relationship and you're just sitting down. What's good? I mean, when I meet with my team and we have our weekly meetings, let's start with what was good this week, Yeah. So I like that. Great way to start every conversation.
Yeah, it's a super easy way to start anything with anyone, specifically Realtors, though, for sure. You want to know what's going well for them. Second one, of course, is always what type of challenges or pain are you having right now in your business? What types of challenges or pain are you having right now in your business? I think it's a great follow-up question, number one, because everyone has challenges and pain. And if you really want to be valuable to anyone in any type of relationship, it's always going to be helping them solve some sort of problem. And if they don't want to tell you what the problems are, you're going to have to ask, well, what are you having problems with, right? And get them to communicate with you about what's going on that's not working great right now for them.
So again, another footnote, while that's a great way to start every relationship, I mean, that's a great way to do your updates with people. Hey, what's the biggest challenge this week? What's the biggest challenge in your market? So great question. What's number 3?
Number 3, super simple, is that what are the 3 most important things to you or 3 non-negotiables that you have in your relationships? So I always want to know what the 3 most important things are for people in their relationship. Now, Dave, whenever you ask this, most people don't really know, or they think they don't know, right? They always say, well, what do you mean? That's a very common question that I get is, well, what do you mean, Jeremy, non-negotiables? Well, things that are super duper important to you for you to be in a business relationship or any relationship for that matter. What are deal breakers, right? Like, what are some deal breakers? What are non-negotiables? What are things that absolutely must have, or things that maybe you absolutely can't have go on? And the thing is, whenever you ask this and you get feedback, it almost 99% of the time results around some form of communication. So whatever it may be, getting update calls, not knowing where things are going on in the process, calling me back, getting clear answers. It always results around some type of communication 99% out of the time that you get that question answered.
Cool. Number 4.
Number 4. This is my favorite one. I love this. This is the favorite question. It's like you're juicing, you're priming the pump. And then you get to ask the really good, juicy one, right? It's that if you could change anything about the mortgage lending process, what would it be and why? So if you could change anything about the mortgage process, what would it be and why? So the reason this is my favorite question is because they are going to tell you everything that they don't like about the current person they're working with, or just bad experiences they've had with other lenders, whether it's their lender or not. So it's my favorite question of the 5, just because you're going to get really, really, really good information from them.
And notice he didn't ask about what do you not like about your current lender. He's talking about the mortgage process. So that is an important distinction. Don't ask, what do you like and don't like about your current lender? Ask the question as Jeremy did it. Love that. Number 5.
Number 5 is really, really simple. It's more of a recap than what is a question, I guess, but it's more of a recapping the conversation and then making them understand that, listen, I believe that everything is earned, not given. I understand that you probably have relationships, as well. So I'm not asking you to refer me everyone that you're working with. All I'm asking you is an opportunity for your next 2 deals that you have the ability to refer, so I can show you exactly how the process works and what it's like to work with us, so that you'll know what the process looks like and what the benefits are. And then we could sync back up and go from there. So it's really just an ask more than anything. It's asking for the business, asking for the opportunity. If you go through and ask 2 questions, 5 questions, 10 questions, but you never actually ask for the opportunity, you're not going to get it. So ironically, whether people say yes or no doesn't matter, by the way. Okay. I don't want to say no one, because people have told me absolutely not, which is weird, but that happens like 1 out of 100 times. Okay. Most of the time people will say, yes, that sounds good. Or, you know what, that sounds fair. Or, I'd be willing to do that. Those are the more common responses you're going to get. By the way, even if they don't refer you, people don't like conflict. And you're creating a challenge in that moment, okay, for someone to either offend you or not offend you. Most people don't want to be outwardly offensive. So I love closing with that last question of, can I get an opportunity, not of all, but just your next 2, to show you how the process will work. Make sure you don't ask for 1. You got to ask for 2. The reason why we ask for 2 is because, do you think you're going to get an incredible, great, easy lead right out of the gate, Dave, or do you think you're going to get something with some hair on it?
I love that, man. Great job. So being in the Mortgage Coach channel, I have to ask, when and how do you bring Mortgage Coach and the value prop into the conversation with your real estate agents? How's that sound, and when do you do it?
Absolutely. So I do it in the conversation. Like what we just did is we went through basically, here are the 5 questions, right? But ultimately, you have to remember, when you're having a conversation, you're weaving. Okay, you're weaving things into the conversation. So I bring up Mortgage Coach in the conversation when I'm talking with them. If, for an example, give you a great example, I had someone say, oh, one of the things I absolutely can't stand about the mortgage process is that the numbers never make sense to my clients, right? They get told something on the phone and then it's different, or they're just frustrated. It seems to happen all the time. So then I get a great opportunity to say, really, that's interesting. That never happens because we use a Mortgage Coach total cost analysis. Are you familiar with it? By the way, they're all going to say no. Okay, even if they have, they're going to say no. That gives me an opportunity to show them, hey, we have it on our mobile device. Here's what it looks like. Let me send you a couple samples with videos so you can see exactly what the clients get. And then you can see how we communicate, so that the numbers are never going to be different from what they're told, and how our communication process works. Number 1, they love that. Side note. Number 2, if they say something like this, and I've shared this with Dave before, about a month ago, I actually got a loan application, okay, from a realtor who I had met with for the first time, by having this dialogue. And she goes, that is really cool. Like, I wonder what numbers would look like for me. Rates are good, right? I said, absolutely. Would you like me to create one for you? She was like, yes. And I had an opportunity there that I wouldn't have gotten unless I actually did that and showed her how to do it. I ended up closing the transaction, and she's referred me 3 people since in the last month. So weave it into the conversation, right? Figure out how to find an opportunity to showcase exactly what you use, how you use it. In this example, the Mortgage Coach total cost analysis.
I love that. And I also know that from what you've told me in the past, realtors are always talking about communication, communication.
Yeah.
It's going to come to that. And then you use mortgage coach to say, let me show you how I'm going to communicate with your clients. So as we wrap this up, give me that scripting of how you position mortgage coach as just a better, more efficient way to communicate.
Sure. So it's real simple. The reason why that we use Mortgage Coach total cost analysis for every single quote that we do is so that we make sure, number one, that the client is 100% clear with what all of the options are, so that we're not telling them something over the phone that they need to tell their wife or tell their husband, I think this is what they said the cash at close was. We want to show them visually. Number two is we want to tell them. That's why we use the video technology. We also want to show them how they can pay off their loan faster over time to help them create wealth. You see, Mr. Realtor, Dave, if you were the realtor, Dave, you see, here's the thing. We get people into the biggest debt that they've ever incurred in their entire life. I feel it's also our responsibility to show them how to get out of it. This software allows me to show them how they can shave 6 years off the life of their loan, how they can increase their net worth by an additional $300,000 over 10 years. That's why we use this system. And third is so that we can always be on the same page, Mr. Realtor, so that you can see exactly what I'm communicating to the client. That way, you know what we have said, what we have told them, what they have access to. And if they come back to you, you can always sync it back up with me and make sure we're all on the same page for great communication. So that's how I script around it.
Love it. And then remember, guys, realtors love it when you help them sell more homes. So if you're showing them how to pay off their home faster, you're showing them how to build equity faster to move up into a bigger home.
That's correct.
Dude, you killed it. Guys, if you got value from this, give it a like, share it with your mortgage friends. If there are questions that you're asking realtors, like what are the core questions you're asking every single agent, put those down below. Jeremy Forcier, appreciate you, brother.
Have a great day, man.
Hey, you too, man. Take care, brother.